FM Colbert, 1280 KCNS AM Salt Lake City, and 102.7 KSL FM HD2 Salt Lake City Midvale. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself, I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome on in, everybody. Happy Wednesday to you. Thanks for being with us on the program. Jeremiah, Jensen, Alex, Kirry. It is JJ and Alex right here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being with us on the show. We are at RGS Exteriors here in, which Jordan is it?
The West one.
It's the West Jordan. Weejo, we like to call it out here.
Weejo, huh?
Weejo. Yeah.
There's Sojo and there's Weejo,
there's
and then
Weejo.
there's JoJo.
Is there a Jordan?
I don't know. There's Jordan High School.
There you go. Shout out to all the beat diggers out there.
That's right.
Thanks for being a part of the show, everybody. Yes, we are in RGS Exteriors. We're going to chat with Aaron coming up here in just a little while. Of course, RGS does a phenomenal job making the outside of your home look beautiful, but also they do it without breaking the bank, and they also do it better than the national guys who will rip you off.
Old school craftsmanship.
Yeah, look, they have a whole motto. We're at their building, and so it's kind of an interesting peek into the behind the curtain because they have. Like, this is where they have their company meetings. And the company meetings are like, here's what we do. You know what I mean? And so it's nice to see their mission as a company and all those things. So it's exciting to be able to do. We've got lots to get into today. Quite an eventful day. Quite an eventful week. And look, I took a lot over the last 24 hours. I've taken a lot of questions from people who are like, so what does that college football playoff stuff actually mean? And the answer is we have no freaking idea. By the way, the biggest reason that is because we have so much dang football left to be played. But it still gives you a little bit of an insight as to where things are when it comes to where the committee is thinking. The more I went back and I re-looked, I was like, you know the meme with Wolverine where he's looking at the picture of the and longing? And I was me in bed last night looking at all the rankings going, gosh, it could have been so different. Yeah. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, hold on a minute. Why is Miami the highest-ranked ACC team? What is going on here? And it's all part of this conspiracy to make sure that Notre Dame finds its way into the college football playoff, I think. But it's hard not to be J to JJ. We've seen way too many versions. Yeah. Look, and if you want to deal with all this, the way you take it out of humans' hands is you just play as good a football as you can, and you create your own destiny. And having to rely on a group of fuddy-duddies in a room to decide your fate for you is no way to do it. And so I'm for the model now of make sure that you take out of the hands the decision-making that one or two teams are going to be left out and that other teams get let in. But let's kick off the program officially here. We'll dive more into what the complications and implications are of this college football playoff. As now we've had a few hours to digest this thing. Let's get into it right now. Top of the hour, top of the show with the cut.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the program, TRAJANwealth.com. That's Trajan Wealth for all your trusted local needs in retirement, TrajanWealth.com. Okay, so now that we've been able to look at it a little bit longer, JJ.
Yes.
Now that we've been able to kind of digest what the rest of the College Football Playoff Committee is trying to figure out, what we do know is this. They value at least 3 two-loss teams ahead of a one-loss BYU team in the College Football Playoff. And the 2 losses that Utah currently has sitting in the spot that they are at 13, which are decidedly, in my mind, way better losses than even Notre Dame has, losing to a not very good Miami team. Now that we have figured out they're a not very good Miami team.
Right.
How about Texas losing to a 3-win Florida team? We love talking about the win that they had over Ohio State. But what are the things that put these teams right there? And it's unfortunate, but the reality of why these –
or the loss they had on Ohio State. Who have they beat?
Okay. So they've beaten San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston.
They beat Vanderbilt by a field goal.
And Oklahoma. When they went – so they lost –
those are good wins.
Think about how weird of a start this is. They lose to Ohio State. Fine. It was a 14-7 game. Everybody's looking at Arch Manning going, that guy kind of looked like not very good, but we'll see.
Yeah.
They beat San Jose State. They beat UTEP. They beat Sam Houston. Those were the 3 wins in a row they rattled off before losing to Florida. And then everyone went, oh, man. Oh, but now they've won 3 other games. And so what has that done for them? It's put out of their minds the idea that anybody wants to – look, Texas, the reason they're in, it's not the SEC. They'll say it's a tough SEC schedule. It's not the SEC, JJ, because it's a brand.
Yeah.
Their brand –
it's powerful. I get
is significant.
And you make the same case with Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, their brand is too big. You can make that. You can make the argument with Oklahoma too. Oklahoma, the brand is a blue blood, multiple Heisman Trophy winning. It means more here, not just because of the SEC.
The problem, though, isn't the committee supposed to be strictly making these decisions based on resume and not brands?
No,
because I believe, like you believe, I think the committee would rather have Notre Dame and Texas in the playoff than BYU and Utah.
Of course, and here's why, JJ.
Even though you could make similar cases for all 4.
Look, you're in the television business, and you've helped me become cynical and jaded enough.
I'm glad I've had that effect on you. I have that effect on everybody.
To realize.
Let me tell you how it really is. Let me tell you how the sausage is made.
JJ, I'm telling you, it's hard not to look at this and say, oh, this college football playoff committee is just trying to cast the best reality TV programming that they can.
Correct.
And they are casting a TV show. And it's much better to have big names and recognizable faces on your college football playoff reality TV show you're putting together so that people will tune in. And that's not to say that people wouldn't tune in still to a very popular show, so to speak. But I'll go back to this. I haven't done all the research on this, and I'm going to pretend like I don't know as much as I do about the topic. However, my wife is a big Dancing with the Stars person, okay? Right now they're going through this weird thing because you're getting people that are getting votes and staying on the show that have no business being there. They can't dance worth 2 freaking beans, all right? And I'm not saying that Texas is the Andy Richter of the college football playoff. But the people are up in arms about how many weeks in a row Andy just keeps finding himself on the program, and it has nothing to do with his ability, has nothing to do. It's because he's got this little fan group that just he gets voted in, and they have to keep him on. Now, I know that it's a lot more complicated than it's basically a version of Dancing with the Stars, but is it that far off?
No, because what's the engine driving all this? It's television.
Making money off of the ratings.
ESPN or Fox or whoever has the rights. Right now it's ESPN, ABC/Disney has the rights to the college football playoff, right? So what do they want? What conference is ESPN in bed with?
The SEC.
Correct.
Yes.
So guess who has the most opportunities for bids in the college football playoff?
They definitely have the most, according to this list.
Based on what we're saying, I mean, Texas getting in adds another team to the mix. I believe it's 5. Could you see 5 SEC teams this year when the SEC hasn't been dominant, hasn't been as good as it's been in the past, yet they're going to get more bids this year than ever? And it just so happens to coincide with ESPN having this contract with the SEC? Are you shocked by this?
So I'm not, but what I'm saying is that I'm not tinfoil hat guy, right? Like I'm not crazy.
You don't need a tinfoil hat.
That's what I'm saying is that
this is just
people
reality.
will go, I didn't like your conspiracy theory you were talking about the other day about how everybody just wants to poo-poo on BYU. I said, no, it's not just that. They can't wait for Texas Tech to be fake. They can't wait.
It's not about BYU.
No,
it's about making sure that the teams behind them that they want in get in.
It's not just that.
And they use this opportunity to do it.
As soon as Baylor last year, or not Baylor, Boise State, as soon as Boise State gets put into, were they the 3rd or 4th in the college football playoff?
They were
definitely a bye team.
They were 3rd.
They got the bye.
They got in one spot ahead of Arizona State.
Right. So they get the bye. And what happened immediately? After they get their butts absolutely handed to them by a way better Penn State team, everyone looked and went,
told you so.
We can't let these little guys do this anymore,
and
can we?
Changed the whole format
with
the conference champions getting the bye.
Who do we call so that I don't have to see a boy? Did you say it was Boise State on my television screen last night? Who do I have to call to be able to make sure I don't have Boise State on my television screen anymore? It was hard to look at, Mike. You know, like that is the guy in my head who calls and says, we got to get this thing changed. It's the same guy fictional or not, who calls up and goes, "Now, I'm a fan of good football, but whose idea was it that the Mormons won the national championship this year, Craig? Because last time I checked, my Sooners were playing down in Miami in the Orange Bowl. Am I wrong? Am I not seeing straight?" Same guy.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yep.
Change the rules because you don't have the same people. It is just hard to watch a slow motion train wreck of how they want this thing to go. Here's the great news, though. Big 12, BYU fans, Utah fans, Texas Tech, I think they're going to be fine. Here's the good news, is when you're just winning, that's all you can do and say, we put it out there. Now, in Utah's case, the 2 losses that they took, is it going to be too much for them to be able to get into the college football playoff? It may be. But if you have a 3-loss Oklahoma team and a 3-loss Texas team, and you're out there and you go, because I was watching today, and one of these national pundit shows, and they go, I had 11-1 BYU going to the Big 12 championship game and even losing a second time, but me putting them in the college football playoff. But not after last week. Not after the way they played that team. I can't. That's not a playoff team. And I went, how on earth is Texas a playoff team? How has Texas looked like a playoff team? When have they looked like a playoff team?
BYU has 1 loss to a top 6 team right now. Texas has a loss to a team that's 3-6.
10 minutes ago, they had to force a very improbable overtime in Starkville, Mississippi against a team who's won 1 game in the SEC. All right? So don't tell me that this team's resume is so unflappable.
They beat Kentucky by 3 points.
Okay? Kentucky beat Florida, by the way, by 100.
Uh-huh.
What was it, 38-7 at their place?
Right.
And Texas had a hard time against Kentucky.
Yep.
I'm telling you, these are not games that we're looking at and you're going, man, what's the best win they have all season long? Them beating Oklahoma, which is perfect because all the people who make the argument that Oklahoma should be in are using Texas as the mirror to be able to reflect that off of. Do yourself a favor and go and look at these games that they played against San Jose State 38-7. UTEP 27-10. No, that was not played at the Sun Bowl.
Utah State played UTEP as well as Texas did.
Okay. Sam Houston, they beat him 55-0. That's the best game on paper that Arch Manning has had his entire college career. And you know what? Sam Houston is the worst team at the FBS football level. The worst team. Ranked 136 on most of the metrics. Them and UMass. Okay?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is not only are they not playing people that are that big of a deal, don't act like their entire schedule. We convince ourselves that their entire schedule is just one Ohio State or Oklahoma or Georgia every other week, and that's just not the case. They've played really weak competition in their out-of-conference schedules, which they set up on purpose to be able to get to the spot that they're at, okay? And then they make sure that the rest of the way that they can just get the job done enough, just eking by Mississippi State and eking by Vanderbilt and eking by a Florida or losing to Florida, a team that has 3 wins this year. One of their 3 wins is you.
Yeah.
If BYU or Utah had one of their losses against, what would the equivalent be? What would the equivalent be?
Well, let's look at the Big 12 and who was a 3-6 team in the Big 12. Colorado?
It'd be like UCF probably.
Colorado.
It'd be Colorado. So let's say you lose to Colorado.
Yeah.
Everyone would look at you and go, what is your
You wouldn't even
deal?
be considered.
Yeah. So do you see what I'm saying, though? Okay?
I mean, there's not even –
There's one. Colorado's 3-7.
You got to go all the way down to West Virginia to find a team in the Big 12 with 6 losses.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and if you lost to West Virginia, you would be disqualified as a Big 12 team.
Oh, 100%.
They would just go, there's no way you can get this back.
I think that's what's happened to Houston. Why is Houston not in the top 25?
Okay.
They're 8-2 and 5-2 in conference play. Why is Houston not getting any consideration? Because they lost to West Virginia, right? What's the difference in losses? Are you more frustrated by the Texas case or by the Notre Dame case? I think the Texas case has got me more frustrated because you have a national pundit.
It has
saying,
over the past 24
hours. A third
hours.
loss for Texas isn't going to mean anything because that means they beat either Georgia or Texas A&M, and therefore by winning one of those games, even though they have lost 3 games, they should be in.
Okay,
just ignore the rest of the ugly stuff.
What's the worst power conference by far?
ACC.
What's half of Notre Dame's schedule?
ACC. And not even the good ACC.
And not even the good
Outside
ACC.
of Miami, which they lost to.
Okay.
And Miami's flawed.
Not even the good ACC. And then on top of it,
Miami's not even good enough to get into the ACC championship game this year.
But Miami has to be put ahead of.
Do you know who's going to be in the ACC championship?
It's going to be No, don't tell me. It's going to be Virginia versus Duke.
It's going to be Georgia Tech and Duke. Yeah.
So Duke is on this weird path.
Right.
Because if Duke wins that game, they could be a 4-loss ACC champion.
Correct.
And that would set off a weird chain of events where
if they beat Virginia, the rest of their schedule is North Carolina, Wake Forest. And by virtue of that, they would be in the Big 12. They would be in the ACC championship.
And they
game.
get there, and then you know what happened? If they won it, okay? If they beat an 11-1 Georgia Tech team, which by the way, nobody is convinced that Georgia Tech's just going to wipe the floor with everybody, right?
But I mean, they got to beat Pitt and Georgia to get to 11-1.
Georgia Tech
point
does.
is valid.
Georgia Tech does. Yeah.
So you're probably looking at a 9-3. Let's say they lose those 2 games, and maybe Pitt sneaks up in there. But let's say they lose those games. So I'm getting off track here. You get my point. Like, you have an ACC championship game that could be really ugly.
No, this is not off track. This is part of the Beautiful Mind college football playoff conspiracy board that we have up.
There you go.
With all the strings connecting everywhere, okay? It's part of the deal. Duke is in 5th place right now in the ACC.
Well,
and we're talking about
5 teams with 1 loss in conference.
Yeah, and we're talking about a team that right now is 5-4.
Miami's not one of them.
I know.
They have 2.
And they're 5. Duke is 5-4 on the season. All right, you're talking about the real reality that a Duke Blue Devils team could win out, go to the ACC championship game, and be a 4-loss ACC champion.
By the way, Duke could be the ACC champion. They lost to Tulane by a touchdown. They lost to UConn. And they could be the ACC champion.
Is Jim Moore Jr. still there at UConn?
I think so.
That's crazy.
Big win for the Huskies.
But you see what I'm saying? What I'm saying out loud is the thing that everybody here in this market, and everybody, frankly, who follows the Big 12 close enough, is having to watch.
Yeah.
Because in the end, by the way, a team like Cincinnati, who should deserve some discussion other than just because what's Cincinnati? They're a
7-2, 5-1 in conference.
They're 1 loss in conference play. All right. Guess who else is 5-1 in conference play? BYU. Guess who else is 6-1 in conference play? Texas Tech. You have 3 1-loss teams in there. But no one wants to give Cincinnati any respect because not Cincinnati. However, suddenly when you're having this conversation, and if Notre Dame beats a 3rd-tier ACC team, they go, yeah, but I like what they're doing out there in the field. I love what Jeremiah Love is doing. He looks very strong. And you go, what are we doing? Okay, so you guys value good running backs? Oh, yeah. And then you bring them another team, and you're like, yeah, but not them, though. That doesn't fit my narrative. Yeah. You see, I'm watching this thing happen, and it's sad because the only thing that you should be worried about right now is a conference championship race, but no one cares. Because all they're looking at is, get to the college football play, or get to the conference championship game if you're BYU, and then what happens? You're not going to get rewarded.
No, you're going to get punished.
You lose to number 8 Texas Tech.
That's why Utah's in a better position right now, because if they avoid the Big 12 championship game, they're sitting at 10-2 with their last loss being at BYU in October. But they'll have all this momentum, assuming they do what we think they're going to do. If they do what they have to do to get consideration, that means blowing out Baylor, Kansas State, and Kansas in the next 3 games, which is what they would have to do to get that kind of attention. But if they did, they would be in a better position than BYU, who's going to play in a Big 12 championship game with 1 loss. And you can tell right now that BYU 12 and Utah 13, if Utah doesn't lose another game but BYU loses another game, even though BYU won the head-to-head, don't they have to drop BYU below Utah? Utah's playing better football right now. Utah has not lost a game, and Utah's doing this. And BYU fans are going to go absolutely insane by that. You're right, though. Ultimately, BYU controls their own destiny. But we know how good Texas Tech is, and so it feels really uneasy right now if you're a BYU fan, feeling like you're getting jobbed a little bit, because why in the world did you drop 5 spots after losing to one of the best teams in the country in their building?
I did,
it doesn't make sense. No other team. If Ole Miss lost to Alabama tomorrow on Saturday, I'm just making up a hypothetical here, by a similar score in Alabama's building, would Ole Miss drop to 12 this week?
No. No, and that's why.
Why is BYU dropping 5 spots?
I don't know, because the same argument that they used to put Texas Tech up is, well, they're beating teams and they just beat an undefeated BYU team. But then they also used against BYU's argument, yeah, but that was a bad loss. We're really putting you down there.
Why is
which
it a
one
bad
is
loss?
it? Which one is it?
They were supposed to lose that game. They were 10-point underdogs.
Which one is it? So in Texas,
Drop them a couple. Drop them below Oregon. They're both one-loss teams. BYU's lost. I get that. Dropping them behind two-loss teams. No, 3 two-loss teams.
Yep.
Notre Dame, Texas and Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
That the logic doesn't make sense there with what the committee did there. If you thought BYU was the 7th-ranked team in the country last week, what they did on Saturday convinced you they were 5 spots less?
What was the tell me the number where in the college football playoff ranking that Miami ended up? Are they 15?
Yeah.
So they're 15 and Georgia Tech is 16. And everybody's like, hey, why did Miami move up? Everybody's asking the question, hey, why did Miami move up so much?
You know why. You know why.
Got to make sure that Notre Dame gets taken care of. Just keep making that, that Notre Dame law.
Why did Georgia Tech move up 1 spot and Miami move up 3? Georgia Tech has the better record.
Yes, they're a one-loss team.
What's the logic there when it comes to the ACC?
The logic is, wow, but they did beat Notre Dame. They did beat Notre Dame. I mean, man, what a hard-fought battle to win that one at the very beginning of the season. I just think that we give way too much. And you know what is interesting? I've never argued for the Texas A&M Aggies in my life. But why are they not higher? Why are they not higher than Indiana?
I told you yesterday.
Why can't
they moved ahead?
Why can't they be?
They had a better week. I thought we were supposed to reset this every week.
Here's the question: why can't they be number 1? Because Ohio State is undefeated for sure. So now put the. It's not just about being undefeated. Look at Texas A&M.
Ohio State played Purdue. Texas A&M played a ranked Missouri team.
Yeah, the
margin of victory is almost identical.
Right, and they crushed the heck out of them.
Right.
Yes. So
on the road.
If you look at Texas A&M's schedule, they have more wins against ranked teams, and they're in the lauded SEC. And by the way, like I said, Indiana and Ohio State are there. Why though? Why? Because they were ahead of Texas A&M when the season started on the rankings.
Exactly.
But we don't take those into account, JJ. You don't know. You don't know me.
Don't.
You know I don't take those into account. See, it's all.
We're just asking the committee to make it make sense.
Okay. So, my last statement is this: when they put this out, understand that they are only putting together the rankings that they have, so that they can put on a better reality TV program, and that they have a couple of reasons to be able to make the excuse to say, oh, no, for sure we have enough evidence to be able to do it. We can make a logical step in our heads, and it's very illogical because they treat every team different. But they're going to make a way to be able to make sure they get their teams on that reality programming. That's what have I said about the college football playoff? It's like the Golden Bachelor. It's must-watch TV.
The Golden Bachelor.
These are old teams, man. Old teams playing against one another.
Well, when you're older, it just means more.
Right. Bad divorces. There's going to be a bunch of Mucilex commercials probably on Mucinex. Is that the one? No. What's the one with Depend, not with the S. There's going to be also, when you're watching the college football playoff and you go, oh my goodness, they got me. This is the Golden Bachelor.
Brought to you by Cialis.
Yes, you're going to get those commercials. No, I hate when we're right about all this, JJ.
I know. It makes you angry.
We'll take a break. Hey, when we return, the Jazz getting a massive W last night at home. How about a rookie breakout night for Ace Bailey? He got his start 2 nights ago, his very first start with the team, and then he finally breaks that 20-point barrier as a rookie, has his best night as the Jazz absolutely whoop up on the Indiana Pacers last night. We'll talk about that and much more. Stay right here with us. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
You know what's coming.
Your daily deep dive into everything Utah Jazz.
It's time.
All season long and even in the off season. It's Jazz Daily with JJ and Alex on your exclusive home of Utah Jazz basketball. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Yes, you know what that music means. NBA on NBC going strong. Last night I got to watch with the Jazz on a small screen in my house. On the big screen, it was Philly Celtics. It was 76ers Celtics up on the screen last night. It was nice to Nice to have a big old national game.
That was a great game.
It actually ended up being pretty good, and it came down to the last shot, and it was yeah.
We're thrilled to have the NBA back on NBC, and I'm going to be even more thrilled once this Jazz franchise gets things rolling, because once they do, we could have up to 7, 8, even 10 games on KSL from the NBA package. So we can't wait for that time to come. So we're excited to have the NBA back. So
interestingly enough, I'm watching this thing go down, and I'm watching the Jazz game, and I was like, oh man, they're way better than this Pacers team. And that Pacers team is bad. Now
1-10.
Lowry with 35. Bigger breakout, though, I think was that moment. Ace Bailey needed a night like last night.
He's the story.
Everybody's been waiting for Ace to have a game where it wasn't just about – he's been increasing the minutes, right? And you get Will Hardy's blessing, and you go into the game a little bit more, and you're asked to go in and play maybe some extra minutes here and there. But the reality is that Ace Bailey became the guy last night. I say became. It's not like he arrived. But he did have the game that I think people were anticipating he was going to have maybe a week or two ago when the season officially started, because he was having such a good go during the preseason. But now we've seen a guy who is able to have that 20-point game. What does that do for a kid going forward? A guy like Ace Bailey.
It unlocks his potential. Every time he goes out there and he does something like that, the confidence will increase. And that's a kid who already has a lot of confidence and a lot of ability and a lot of talent. When you start doing it against the best of the best when it matters on an NBA floor, it unlocks everything for you. And you can play more free. You think less. You just do. And I think you saw Ace Bailey just do last night. The rebound put back before halftime, in the right position, in the right place, making a play happen. His ability to take step-back threes like that. Who's going to defend that kid with his length and athleticism on the perimeter? Not very many guys in the NBA are going to be able to do that. And then, obviously, he's got such a great ability to get to the rim. It's not just his athleticism and his length. It's how he combines the two together to get to the rim from far away so quickly. I've talked about it before. He can take one dribble and gather from the three-point line and dunk. That's the kind of player he is. And as you continue to watch him develop and get more confident, there's more reason to get excited. Jazz fans, if you've been hesitant about the Jazz or you've checked out lately, I get it, I understand it. Check back in for Ace Bailey. Check back in for Ace Bailey, because this guy's going to be a superstar in this league. I believe it. It's going to take some time. It's not going to happen right now. But you saw last night what he can become. 4 of 8 from 3 while being able to do what he does around the rim. It's a lethal combination that very few players on this planet are able to have. He's got it.
Lowry comes through. You have the veteran play last night. He puts down an easy 35 for a guy who's, I'd say, quietly having a really, really good season. He's averaging over 30 points a game still, or just under 30. I guess it's like 29 and a quarter. But he's having a really, really nice year. What does that mean going forward for this team? Is it looked at more like, hey, Lowry is more valuable as the possibility of being able to be a trade asset, or is it more, hey, this guy could be a huge part of what we end up seeing on the court for this Jazz team in the next 5 years?
Both. I don't know what they want to do in the front office long term. They tell us that he's part of the long term. But then again, something could come along that's pretty big, and he's a guy that can actually get that deal done. It's not like some of these other guys that they moved in the offseason whose trade value is very low. Lauri Markkanen is a borderline NBA All-Star. He's been one once before. He's playing at an All-Star level right now. And there could be a team in the future that says, we need him. He's exactly what we're missing to get to a title, and we're willing to give up this much to get him. Or you just patiently wait, and Lowry's, by all accounts, willing to patiently wait for this team to grow up and meet him where he's at. And when that happens, this team is going to be very, very good. And you see Keontae George emerge as a great player this year. You see the potential with Ace Bailey. You see some of these other pieces. Bryce Sensabaugh looks like the perfect sixth man. Isaiah Collier had a great night last night. Kyle Filipowski had 16 points and 7 rebounds and 3 assists. You saw his playmaking ability. There's talent on this roster, and you still have the ability to add more talent in a draft this year where you're going to have multiple picks, and you could be in play for some of these special players that are in this special draft coming up. So the future's bright for the Utah Jazz. The present is frustrating and difficult and murky, but it's a lot better now than it was this time last year, right? I feel like there's hope with this team right now. I feel like there's an entertainment value with this team that wasn't there at this time last year. Ace Bailey gave you excitement and hope last night. Watching a Jazz team score 152 points at home gives you excitement. You're seeing some things develop with this team. They're not there yet, obviously, but you see how the future has potential and the ability to get that one more difference maker in an NBA draft coming up, and then you see where this thing goes is really intriguing. And all the assets that they still have to build out an impressive roster. Future's bright.
What else stood out last night? Obviously,
let me go into Isaiah Collier. You mentioned that because I think there's a thought that if you're looking at the Jazz roster, okay, they're not going to be able to keep all these guys all the time. Who ends up being the guys that end up getting moved or it doesn't work out? Cody Williams got 19 minutes last night, obviously in a blowout game. He hadn't been in the rotation for a while. He gets out there and does some things. But I'm looking at Isaiah Collier, 14 points, 11 assists, 6 rebounds. Those are some really good numbers. And he was effective. He made a 3 last night, 5 of 6 from the field. That's the kind of Isaiah Collier you want to see. That's the kind of Isaiah Collier that sticks in a rotation in the NBA and potentially becomes a starter. So for Isaiah Collier to go out there and have his first good game this year, he had the injury issue to start the season, is really promising as well because I haven't given up on him either. So you're looking at 9-10 deep on this roster of guys that have you excited and have you hopeful. Walter Clayton Jr., I've seen a lot of good things out of him. Last night wasn't his night,
do you remember how
but
good,
it was for Isaiah.
Do you remember how good of a preseason that Bryce Sensabaugh was having?
Yeah.
And he's been nice, too, because he only had 16 points last night.
Only
16 minutes and 16 points.
That is efficient.
That's as good as they'll ask you to do.
4 of 9 from 3. And if that's your 6th man moving forward, that's great production. So you see the potential there.
What is Cody Williams' situation then? When we suddenly look at him and they go, what do they want?
Still raw, still young, still got to get better, but the clock's ticking. Like teams can't wait forever, even on these guys that they draft that are young like that. He's going to have to figure it out. But you see the athleticism, obviously the pedigree's there, but you can't just lean on what your brother did. He's got to establish his own legacy in the league, his own place in the league, and he's got to show that consistently. And he's in a tough spot because obviously he's got a long way to go. And how do you get better? You need reps and you need minutes. Does he get that in the NBA level? Right now it's not happening. It did last night. Does he got to go to the G League and go figure some things out there? Probably. So we'll see how that develops. But he's got a long way to go. And I think the jury's still out on that. And I think the Jazz obviously want him to be successful. They never, ever, no organization ever wants a top 10 pick to end up not working out. So I think they're going to try to give him every opportunity to do that. But he's got to show improvement. He's got to get better, and it needs to come sooner rather than later.
Let's take a break. We'll come back. That was Jazz Daily. We will return. We are here at RGS Exteriors, and we'll chat with Aaron around the corner here, too. We are going to come back with a Would You Rather, a Wednesday edition of Would You Rather right here on the program. So stay right here with us. More to go. 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Listen, everybody. Real-life hypotheticals to get your brain churning. As JJ and Alex ask, would you rather?
Back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. Yes, welcome to the program. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate it. We're at RGS Exteriors, and we're going to chat with Aaron in just a moment here. Okay. I have a very important would you rather. Because we just got hit at our house with the kids who are my kids. They ran out of their Halloween candy.
Oh, no, that's a crisis.
So, which is good news for me. Actually, I'll be honest.
It's only been 12 days.
So my former radio partner, Ethan Millard, and myself, we used to have he had a thing what he called, I want to say it was the toy hammer. He's like, oh, and like when he didn't want his kids to have these certain toys that were super annoying anymore, he would destroy them. And then the kids wake up in the morning and be like, oh, no, they got hit with the hammer monster. Dang. And they'd be like, I guess we're throwing it away. Just the exact opposite of Santa.
That's some trauma, man.
Oh, it's great.
Jeez.
It's a great way. So
Is it?
Ethan's a good dad. I'll stand by
Sure he is.
that. So here,
By what measure?
the hammer monster. It was like the hammer fairy, maybe something like that.
Is that what? Does he do the same thing to his family's pets? Where does he draw the
He's
line?
no longer with us.
Ethan.
So I was definitely taking, like, every once in a while when my kids would have their candy out, I said, hey, if I see the candy out and if I see wrappers out, that's 2 pieces of candy going my way. Now, what that really meant was if I saw the candy out, I would just take a handful and I'd throw it away, because all it was actually helping me out. If I throw a handful of candy away, I don't eat it later. But we hit a thing the other day where we're out of Halloween candy now. I was like, that's good for me. But my wife rolled up with the Christmas cakes from Little Debbie at home.
Oh, yeah, those are a problem.
I know they are. And she's like,
There's
well,
an addictive substance to those things. I know it.
and she goes, well, part of it is that she's like, Halloween candy doesn't stand a chance against Christmas treats. And I was like, I'm going to ask JJ about this.
Yeah.
So Christmas candy and treats that come with Christmas versus the plethora of peanut butter cups coming out of my ears
It's the Christmas
for Halloween.
trees. Have you seen the memes lately where people at their office, they walk out and they look like they're going to go smoke a cigarette, but what they do is they actually get
they're
a
hitting
Little
that
Debbie
pack.
Christmas tree out,
Oh, dude.
and they're trying to relax while they eat the Christmas
So the
tree.
trees themselves are amazing, and they have zero nutritional value. They're covered in sweet wax.
Well,
I don't care. It's amazing.
We don't actually know what's in them.
And nobody does. The
Nobody
human
knows.
race, the human race is still trying to find out what is in those things. So you'd go Christmas trees, the Little Debbie Christmas trees.
Oh, yeah.
Over Halloween treats.
Right now, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's because I have had or seen plenty of Halloween candy. And
I'm over
it's
it.
time to turn the page.
I know.
It's time for some holiday treats.
Now I said I'm over it, but I've already eaten like a pound of candy.
So I would rather Little Debbie.
Okay, good. That's good to know. Just want to see what you were made of, because there aren't really a right answer to these, but you just got that answer right. We were doing the read up on BYU, who's actually made they made an appearance in the ESPN bottom 10. Now at 8-1, obviously they're not really in the bottom.
They're
10.
joking.
But I think it does speak a little bit to how you're viewed immediately after not just a loss but a bad loss.
It's never fun to get your butt kicked.
So when you're down 26-0, let's say BYU takes that thing to overtime. Do they fall to 12 if they would have lost in overtime to Texas Tech? Do they go down to 12 in this poll if they would have lost in overtime?
Cynical me says yes, because that's what the committee had planned all along. They were just waiting for BYU to lose so they could push those three teams.
It's part of the script.
Up into the mix.
Yeah, I have a hard time thinking that they in my mind, what they would have done is that Texas Tech would not have moved up to 6, right? Because the way that Texas Tech beat BYU, I think it was pretty straightforward enough to go, oh yeah, there's a reason they should be where they're at, right? So, to me, that's what it always looks like, is that the rest of the country sees a loss like that, and unfortunately, they did the same thing with I think a lot of people dismissed Utah after they lost. What was it? Was it 34-10?
Yeah,
against Texas
it was
Tech?
early in the season. People don't even remember what happened in September now.
Well, you're not allowed, because you don't remember what happened to Notre Dame back then, for sure.
That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
People forgot the 0-2 Notre Dame start.
We have a short memory when it comes to this stuff. All right. We'll come back. When we do, Zach Smith is going to jump on here with us. He covers the Baylor Bears for the Waco Tribune-Herald. He'll talk to us about what that trip down to Waco means for this Utah Utes team and what Dave Aranda and his squad have to lose with Utah coming to town. And if they don't perform, what happens with that? Is Aranda on the hot seat? Or what can Baylor do to turn a season around a little bit? They did this last year where they had a late run and people said, that's a really good football team. Can they do that against Utah? Stay here. 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.